Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Mortal Kombat 3 Kano figure from Storm Collectibles. This is hands down my favorite version of Kano, and the fact that Storm Collectibles led with this kind of blew my mind. So does this live up to expectations? Well, let's talk about that. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this is an incredible looking figure, and honestly, like I said before, this is my favorite version of Kano. So when they just led with this, I was excited, and yeah, they definitely hit all the right notes. I mean, you know, it's just such a good costume. I think in general, the reds and the blacks, it just really like looks badass. And you know, one of the first things I want to talk about is the head sculpt, or the head sculpts. There's a few of them. But I think they definitely approximated the look of Richard DeVizio, who played a number of Mortal Kombat characters, but he was absolutely Kano in MK1 and 3. And this definitely kind of looks like him. I mean, it's a little more, I guess, toyetic, but just it hits all those notes. It looks like his version of Kano. And I thought they killed it here. And then you know, look at the silver faceplate. Thought they kind of got the shade of silver right, and that red just absolutely pops there. You see that exact bright red kind of come back here on the bandolier. Just beautiful, beautiful. I kind of wish that kind of continued on to the costume itself, but I can see that being an artistic decision of, you know, kind of making it a little more realistic. But other than that, like, speaking of the costume, you know, perfect folds, I think, in the cloth. Just everything looks kind of nice and, you know, well, like it's actually fitting on a human being. Then you got the, you know, shin guards and the forearm guards, and you got some really nice weathering going on there with the silver paint. This is very, very nice. You got the, you know, kind of knife sheaths here, very tactical looking, just beautifully done all around. And yeah, just a cool looking version of Kano. I think they fully captured the kind of badass nature of this particular costume. One of my only real, not gripes, but kind of like, I guess, wish list items is I wish they had kind of made the forearm guards a little bigger like they were in the game. But again, that's another kind of like making it more realistic. They made them fit more, well, realistically, as opposed to like these big giant pads. But yeah, other than that, just like absolutely kick-ass looking figure. Of course, we get all the accessories with a Storm Collectibles figure, so let's jump right in. And talking about hands, we get a couple of fists right out of the box. Then we get a pair of gripping hands. Then we get a pair of grappling/grasping hands, and a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of slightly less relaxed hands. I think these are the actual heart-holding hands, and then a pair of chopping, just sort of like straight-out hands. And then we get 4 different head sculpts. So we saw the more stoic one at the beginning here, just very much straightforward. Then we get a yelling head, same beautiful sculpt, just really well done all around. Then we get a gritted teeth head, so very much just the angry expression. And then finally, we get the yelling head again, but we do get a port instead of the red eye, and that is for our effects. And we get the laser effect. As you can see, nice translucent plastic. You can see the port on this end. It has kind of the flared out piece. And if we take the head, just plug that in, and all of a sudden you have his I-beam. Beautifully done. So there's that. And speaking of that I-beam, we do have an impact point here as well. So as you can see, kind of the kind of wavy energy effect. Probably be used as a blood effect as well. Just very, very nice there. Then we get an electric slashing effect. Very, very nice, like the kind of white going into the darker blue. Just very well done there. Then we get a couple of effects blades. So as you can see, we have the handle that we have on the standard knives, but we do have that kind of nice white gradient into the blue. So that is nice as well. Speaking of which, we do get 2 actual just unaffected knives. Love the design of these, very nice and like sturdy looking, definitely very just, they look vicious. I like that. So there's that. And then finally, we get, of course, a human heart for that very famous fatality. So that will do it for accessories. Articulation, balance here are absolutely on point, and as you can see, you can hold a freestanding kick, no issue. This took literally 2 seconds to get into, and that's probably better than any Storm Collectibles figure I've had, which is impressive because, again, they all have really good balance and articulation. So there's that. Then we get into the body itself, and there is a skeleton under here that has, different kind of points. So for our head, we are in a barbell joint of sorts that starts here, comes into the neck, and you can, I can see the ball joint right there. But in terms of looking up, we're moving the neck piece here in the body. Pardon me, the top of the gi is gonna come up a little bit, but so we get some really nice up, we get some really nice down, and get some nice, try to keep them neutral, but you can hear that moving under the kind of rubbery torso there, so we can get some nice side to side as well, and of course you get rotation. We do have true butterfly joints, which are moving around, which are also giving us some up and down as well. And then we can hinge our arms out to a perfect T. We do a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, bring us just about 90. It's just kind of the nature of the joints that Storm uses. Our wrists are a swivel, hinge, swivel. So we can go pretty much anywhere we want with that. So yeah, so there's that. Then we come to the torso. There is kind of a joint here at the diaphragm, a joint at the waist. So we're getting some very nice crunch. Get that arm out of the way. We can see there's a cut here in the torso as well. So very nice crunch. Come back about that far. Watch for the gappage. You can see the top of the gi kind of comes up, and that doesn't really look right because it's not the way the costume works. But we get some nice side to side there as well. And there's a T joint here at the hips. So we do get some rotation, and that allows our hips to come out into complete splits. I will say that when I got mine, the left hip here was actually stuck, and I had to heat it up. The leg actually came off. I was able to reassemble the joint. It was actually assembled backwards, which was kind of weird. First time I've ever encountered that, but it was a very easy fix because a lot of import figures just happen to come together kind of like model kits, and that makes it a lot easier. So that's excellent. So just a word of warning if you kind of have that same issue. We do have some thigh swivel because of that assembly I just spoke of. We can front kick like no one's business, pretty much 90 degrees. We have a double jointed knee joint, which is not folding completely in half, but still giving us some good range. And then we come to the foot. We got some really nice point, some decent forward. We get some rocker as well, and a toe joint. The only thing I wish it had was shin cut, and Storm just doesn't do that. It's a little sad because that would obviously add a lot of range, but overall, that's articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with some other Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figures, with some Hasbro and some Mattel, with some other imports, with some monsters. Finally, with an articulated Icons Oni and yours truly in human form as a Valorverse Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the Mortal Kombat 3 Kano figure from Storm Collectibles is that this is an incredibly kick-ass figure. Honestly, this is probably top tier for the Mortal Kombat line in general. I mean, Storm Collectibles in general keeps upping their game, but the whole form factor of this figure in particular, in terms of the articulation, the accessories, everything, it comes together so well. It shows a very definitive level of focus, and that's beautiful. I love seeing that. So if you too are a fan of Kano in general, of this particular version of Kano, Mortal Kombat as a whole, definitely do not sleep on this. Great figure. Storm Collectibles just continues to bring it, and I will keep buying the Mortal Kombat figures as long as they're making them. So yeah, that's fully recommend. It is available from various online retailers right now. I'll have a link or two below in the description if you are interested in picking one up. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. And that being said, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all that fun stuff. But ultimately, I just hope to see you back, because I do multiple reviews a week of action figures related to tokusatsu, dinosaurs, monsters, pro wrestling, and more. And yeah, just generally try to have fun. So you know, come on back. Let's talk some more toys. Let's talk about our shared interests. And yeah, let's just escape the world for a while. So ultimately, I hope you are well. I hope that all of your toy dreams come true. And most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.